Here is a story about education, entitled The Beauty of Education. If I ask you to define the word education, what will be your answer? Here is the definition provided by the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language. Education is the knowledge or skill obtained or developed by a learning process. This definition is accurate, and yet most of us think when we learn, we tend to believe that this skill or knowledge is supposed to be earned via a form of diploma because we have a misconception about the learning process. In order to better understand this learning process and appreciate the beauty of education, allow me to rely on the sentence of Lillian Eugenia Smith about education. Education is a private matter between the person and the world of knowledge and experience and has little to do with school or college. I do agree with this sentence. Education is related to knowledge and experience. And the second part of the sentence said it has little to do with school and college. You might ask yourself, how? Therefore, I will mention a short story to support this idea, which is called The Fisherman and the Teacher. I hope that you enjoy stories. In this case, let's start. The Fisherman and the Teacher. It is a story I learned when I was a kid. A teacher and a fisherman were making a crossing by boat. They didn't pay attention to each other, and suddenly the teacher said to the fisherman, "Do you know how to read?" The fisherman replied, "No. My parents don't have the means to send me to school." So the teacher said to the fisherman, "You lose one of the most important things in your life." He shook his head and got back to his readings. The fisherman didn't reply. They were about to arrive at the beach, but as the crossing trip was a bit long and there were only two of them on the small boat, the teacher felt the need to speak again. He then said to the fisherman, "At least you know how to write your name, if for any reason they ask you to sign an important document." The hesitating fisherman, ashamed by the situation, only replied, "No." The teacher to reply, "You lose the second most important thing in your life." He had barely completed his sentence when a storm came and capsized the boat. While the teacher was drowning, the fisherman asked him, "Do you know how to swim?" The scary teacher screamed, "No!" And the fisherman to reply, "You will lose your entire life." This story is a bit sad, and yet the facts are obvious. The teacher has education related to books and diplomas. The fisherman has education related to experience and skills. The teacher was comfortable with ideas through elaborated words. The fisherman was an expert in swimming through practice. Both were educated in their own ways, and yet both missed the opportunity to learn from each other. There weren't one but two teachers on this boat. The story might end up in a different way if, for example, the teacher, after knowing that the boy was illiterate, has proposed to teach him, and while discussing, the boy might be able to figure out that he could teach him how to swim. After this constructive conversation, when the storm came, the teacher would automatically earn a savior and the boy would gain a teacher. The lesson is anyone, regardless their origin, their background, and their age, can teach us something which can be useful, even vital. This is the reason every time I met someone or I went to a place, I'm willing to learn as I know that I have a lot that I need to understand and that you, yes, you can teach me. By providing this example, we should be able to understand, even in a basic conversation, if the information is accurate, you learn something new. That doesn't mean you don't need diplomas. In fact, I do have diplomas. Furthermore, some specific works require that you obtain one or several diplomas. What you need to remember is anyone can teach anyone. For this month, Let's look for any occasion to get educated via an article, a book, a documentary, or unusual conversation. This knowledge can come from an expert or a child, as long as this information is verifiable. Please subscribe to this channel, leave your comments and your likes for further information and for other beautiful stories.